Jack Morrison stood in the sterile corridors of the Galactic Trade Commission headquarters, a cardboard box tucked under his arm containing 20 years of his life. His security badge, now deactivated, hung uselessly around his neck. The fluorescent lights above hummed their indifferent song as he walked past colleagues who suddenly found their datapads fascinating. Budget cuts, they'd said. Restructuring, they'd explained. Nothing personal. They'd lied. 20 years. 2 decades of negotiating humanity's trade agreements with species that considered humans little more than upstart primates who'd stumbled into faster-than-light travel. 20 years of swallowing his pride while insectoid diplomats clicked their mandibles in dismissive laughter, of enduring the condescension of the Varax Empire's representatives who treated Earth like a backwater mining colony. Jack had been good at his job, too good. Perhaps he'd secured mineral rights that shouldn't have been possible, negotiated tariff exemptions that made no logical sense, and somehow convinced the notoriously stubborn Keltharian Consortium to open their medical technology markets to human corporations. But none of that mattered now. The rain was falling when Jack emerged from the building. How appropriate, he thought bitterly, that even the weather mourned his dismissal. He stood there for a moment, letting the water soak through his jacket, wondering what came next for a 52-year-old former trade negotiator with no backup plan. Mr. Morrison. Jack turned to find a young woman standing behind him, seemingly unbothered by the rain. She wore a crisp military uniform he didn't recognize, midnight blue with silver accents that seemed to shimmer in the streetlights. "My name is Anna Kowalski, Special Envoy to the Sovereign Council. I need you to come with me immediately." Jack laughed, a hollow sound. "Look, if this is about my severance package, I'm really not in the mood for. The Queen is requesting your presence," Anna interrupted, her expression grave. "The Varaxian Queen herself. And Mr. Morrison, she's not happy." The blood drained from Jack's face. The Varaxian Empire controlled nearly 40% of known space. Their queen was effectively the most powerful individual in the galaxy. Humans didn't get audiences with her, they got demands, ultimatums, and occasionally, if they were very unlucky, orbital bombardments. "Why would the Queen want to see me?" Jack asked, his voice barely a whisper. Anna's expression softened slightly. "Because apparently, you were the only thing standing between humanity and complete economic annihilation, and someone just fired you." The royal yacht was unlike anything Jack had ever seen. It wasn't just a ship, it was a mobile palace. All flowing architecture and impossible geometries that hurt to look at directly. Anna had explained during the shuttle ride that the Queen had arrived in Earth's orbit 6 hours ago and had been transmitting increasingly hostile messages ever since. Now Jack stood in an antechamber, his damp clothes exchanged for formal attire that Anna's staff had somehow procured in his exact size. Through the massive doors ahead, he could hear raised voices, or rather, one voice, speaking in the chittering multitonal language of the VRX. "She's been like this since she arrived," Anna whispered beside him. "The translators say she keeps demanding to know who dared to discard her favorite negotiator." Her favorite what? Before Anna could answer, the doors swept open, and Jack found himself face to face with Queen Zixtera of the Varax Empire. She was massive, easily 3 meters tall, her exoskeleton a deep iridescent purple that caught the light like oil on water. 4 arms gestured dramatically as she spoke, while her compound eyes fixed on Jack with an intensity that made him want to step back. But 20 years of diplomatic training kept him rooted in place. "You," she clicked, her translator rendering her speech in clipped, angry tones. "You are Morrison?" "Yes, Your Majesty," Jack replied, bowing as protocol demanded. "Explain why you abandon your post. Explain why you bring shame to our agreements. Explain why you insult Vrax Empire by disappearing." Jack blinked. "Your Majesty, I didn't abandon anything. I was terminated, dismissed from my position." The Queen's antennae snapped forward, a gesture Anna had once told him indicated extreme surprise or anger. "Terminated? They fired you?" "Yes, Your Majesty. Budget restructuring," they said. For a long moment, the Queen was silent. Then she began to laugh, a sound like wind chimes made of breaking glass. "Humans," she finally managed. "You stupid, magnificent, self-destructive humans." She moved closer, and Jack forced himself not to retreat. One of her clawed hands reached out, surprisingly gentle, and tapped his chest. "Do you know what you are, Morrison? Do you understand what you've been doing for 20 years? Negotiating trade agreements." "No," the Queen said. "You've been teaching us." Every species in this council chamber thought humans were weak, desperate, easily exploited. Then you arrived. You never begged. You never accepted our first offers. You studied our cultures, learned our weaknesses, and negotiated as an equal when you had no right to such standing. She turned to address the room at large, and Jack realized for the first time that they had an audience, dozens of alien dignitaries from across the galaxy, all watching intently. This human showed us that Earth was not prey, but predator, not supplicant, but partner. The Keltharian Consortium opened their medical vaults because Morrison negotiator convinced them that human innovation would be valuable. The Stellar Commonwealth revised their territorial claims because he proved humans wouldn't simply accept being boxed into their home system. The Queen's eyes fixed on Jack again. And your government fires such an asset over budget concerns. Jack didn't know what to say. He'd never thought of his work in those terms. He'd just been trying to get the best deals possible for Earth, to prove that humanity deserved a seat at the galactic table. I cannot allow this, Queen Zixtara declared. Morrison Negotiator, I am offering you a position as Chief Human Liaison to the Vrax Empire. Your salary will be substantial. Your authority will be absolute in matters concerning human-Rax relations, and your former employers will be receiving a very detailed communication about the consequences of their short-sightedness. Anna stepped forward, her datapad already glowing. Mr. Morrison, I've just received word that the Galactic Trade Commission's Board of Directors would like to offer you immediate reinstatement as Chief Negotiator with full benefits and a formal apology. How did they? The Queen's message was sent 20 minutes ago, Anna said with a hint of a smile. It was persuasive. Jack looked between Anna and the Queen, then at the assembled alien dignitaries. Some appeared amused, others thoughtful, but all were watching him with something that looked surprisingly like respect. Your Majesty, Jack said slowly, I'm honored by your offer, but I think I'd like to hear what both positions entail before I make a decision. After all, a good negotiator never accepts the first offer. Queen Zixtara's laughter filled the chamber once more. Yes, she clicked approvingly. This is why you are valuable, Morrison Negotiator. This is why humanity will thrive among the stars. You never stop negotiating, even when you've already won. As Jack settled in to discuss terms, with both the Queen and his former employers now competing for his services, he couldn't help but smile. 20 years of loyalty had seemed worthless just hours ago. Now, apparently, it was the most valuable commodity in the galaxy, and humanity's reputation had just been secured by one fired negotiator and an angry alien queen who refused to let talent go to waste.